ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here are the pictures of all of the school fire alarms installed in my school from elementary school through high school. In elementary school, it was this alarm. This was installed in my elementary school, and it is the Edwards EST 892 electronic horn strobe with the dual fire lettering on the strobe lens. These things were common in the 1980s and 1990s, but not anymore. And the horn in this thing sounded like an Integrity, but much lower pitch. This thing was and of course, don't forget the pull station, which was the Edwards EST 270 SPO, just like it is in my high school right now and in my middle school. Pull in case of fire, so only pull it if there is a fire. That's what I like about this thing. And there is my warning sheet about if you activate fire alarms without a fire, you are guilty of a Class 1 misdemeanor in the state of Virginia. And the Edwards Integrity 792, the Edwards Pre-Integrity. This was installed in the library of my elementary school, and it sounded like this. Just like the 892. And the regular Edwards Integrity. The first generation of these devices sounded like this. Just like the 892 and the 792 pre-Integrity had that pitch come out of the body of the regular Integrity. But now it sounds like this. That's what I heard during the drills at school today. And some models of these Integrities are like this. And of course, the Edwards EST Genesis horn strobes. This is the wall mount, and in the majority of schools I went to, there were the white ceiling mount, circular ceiling mount EST Genesis horn strobes. With the running man escaping from the fire image. Remember, never cross this image out. And never rip out this image on these devices, because that is considered tampering. With fire alarm equipment. If you cross out this image or rip this image out of these devices, that is considered tampering. Never ever tamper with fire alarms in any way. And crossing out this image and ripping out this image is tampering. Don't do that. And the stopper that protects from false fire alarms in our school, it has an alarm that sounds when you lift it. It grabs attention that someone is about to pull the fire alarm as a prank, and they will either run away or put it back because the person is looking at it. So these were all of my school's fire alarms throughout the years. And back to the Genesis. That's the stopper. Back to the Genesis. Now we have the LED Genesis. The first generation of these devices had the same sound compared to an integrity. The first generation Genesis had the same tone as an integrity, which was interesting. But now it has the shrill sound like a wheel lock device would. But when these devices were first introduced, it had the same sound file as an integrity. Which was interesting. This was the first Edwards EST alarm that was multi-candela. But the first generation Genesis was not multi-candela. And these alarms couldn't do continuous. They can only do temporal. If you clip the jumper on these alarms, you can do continuous with these things, but it is permanently set to continuous. If you do that, these are not going to go back into temporal. Just give you a heads up. And if you want these things to be on low volume, you cut the jumper, and unfortunately it goes permanently to low volume, which is dangerous for fire emergencies in public buildings unless you get a new device. So these settings on these devices are permanent. If you put this on continuous, then it's on continuous until you get a new device. If you put this on low volume, then it's on low volume until you get a new device. But with the modern day LED Genesis, it is variable volume and variable pattern. you can switch this between low volume and high volume and temporal and continuous without cutting a jumper and without having to worry about permanent settings. But the older Genesis devices, if you were to change the settings, then they're permanent. So back to this. These were all of my school's fire alarms throughout the years. All Edwards EST devices. And this fire alarm is simplex. My schools used Edwards instead of simplex, because the county and fire marshal has a contract with Edwards EST. PICKLE 700 Systems and Electric hates the fact that the majority of schools in my county has Edwards EST fire alarm systems. PICKLE 700 Systems and Electric hates the fact that the majority of schools in Fairfax County, Virginia have Edwards EST fire alarm systems that tend to fail. And some of our schools have a simplex system which tends to fail. PICKLE 700 Systems and Electric really hates our school's fire alarm systems because of the two companies that tend to fail, Simplex and Edwards EST. So, sorry, Mr. Pickle, all of my school's fire alarms were Edwards EST. Sorry, PICKLE 700 Systems and Electric, that I had to deal with Edwards EST fire alarm systems in my school since I started going to public school. This company tends to fail, but luckily it hasn't happened that much. But PICKLE 700 Systems and Electric feels so bad for me that I had to attend school in a school building with Edwards EST fire alarm systems. Bye.